See if this worked. Okay, now this looks like it's in strictly custom. I have no idea if this is actually going to show up in the feed. Okay, it is. All right. Yay. It's finally where it needs to be, I think. Um, yeah. All right. Let's see if this actually works. So I'm gonna give people a few minutes to come in. Um, I'm gonna be looking at that monitor way over there, I guess, because I can't get comments in easily here. But we'll see. Um, yeah. So let's see. I need to move me. Where'd this go? So I put over here. Come on. Okay, well, there's maybe a couple people watching. I think one of those is me. Let's see, I'm gonna switch this. Okay. 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 All right. Well, I'll wait maybe another 7 minutes to see if anybody shows up, and then I'm just gonna start going. And if people come and go as they please, they can come and go as they please. A little later on tonight, I'm gonna get some whiskey or some such out. Hey, Peter. Hey, yo. Yeah, so I just started this. I finally figured out how to get it on this custom group. So that was a little bit of a fun thing, and my software didn't exactly work the way I wanted to, so I need to get different software, which is why I'm so late. But hopefully in a minute or two, we'll get going. Yeah, all right. More viewers are coming in slowly and surely, so that's pretty cool. I've already done a lot of thinking about this over the past few days, so I more or less know what the layout is that I want. I have a pencil sketch here that I'm going to turn into a legit sketch shortly. But yeah, I'm going to wait maybe 1 or 2 more minutes, then we get going. You can see. I hope you can read this. Yeah, it's legible. Um, just a couple of things that I'm going to have on here. Some of the playfield features over here, and the rough rules. It's going to be very simple rules on this thing because I have what um 2 months to make it, but I'm actually going to working on it about less than a man month, so it needs to get done somewhat quickly. Yeah. All right, more viewers. 1 more minute, then we'll get going. Uh, Tonight is largely going to be just drawing the playfield out and making sure it's kind of buttoned up a little. Whoops, my pen just fell somewhere. Making sure the playfield is uh, more or less in good um, visible sketch shape, so I can form things in SolidWorks on Wednesday. In my head, it's done. I've been playing it the past couple of days in my head, so yeah. And I did go to Michael's today, and I bought some props that I want to put in. And depending on the size of things, there's more props in Michael's I can go get, and they're all like half off, which is great because Christmas just started, and I can easily get some Christmas things. All right, so we might as well get started. So this is going to be 12 Days of Christmas based on the song 12 Days of Christmas. You're going to be collecting all the 12 presents. You're going to have a couple multi-balls in there. There's going to be three main ramps. There's going to be a sleigh ramp going around. There's going to be a candy cane ramp, and there's going to be a fireplace ramp. There's going to be 6 shots dotted all around, made with 4 flippers, and there's going to be a good number of targets. The idea is you hit a bunch of targets, it lights a shot, you shoot the shot, you collect your present. Excuse me. Uh, I maybe Tim. I'm not sure. This is my first time doing it on Facebook, really, kind of, sorta. If it can save and persist, then that would be amazing, because I'd love to have kind of like a build log of this thing on Facebook in the Strictly Custom group, which is why I'm doing it in Strictly Custom and not in my own personal Facebook page. So, knock on wood, yes, it's saved. We'll see. But what was I saying? Yeah. All right. There's gonna be a big present in the middle that's gonna have a drop target, and it can lock a ball for a rip-off multi-ball type of thing. And as I said, it's gonna be very simple rules. You're gonna hit a few targets, so each target, like 2 or 3 targets, will then light a shot, depending on what shot it is. Oh yeah, no problem. Um, I've been wanting to do something like this for a while. My more significant tables, I don't really want to stream because I keep some things close to the chest. But for something like this should be like a fun little holiday thing, right? So why not? And that also lets you guys see in real time my design process, which could be different from yours. You could get some ideas, or you guys could give me ideas too. So it could be fun all around. Uh, yeah. So where was it? Yeah. So you want to collect all the 12 days Christmas presents. You light a couple targets to light a shot to collect a present. The Christmas tree will have some targets in front of it. If you hit all 3 targets, it'll light one of the other shots for you, so you don't necessarily have to get maybe hard to hit shots. It'll make it a little easier. There's going to be a couple different multi-balls, a 3 ball at the 6 present mark and a 4 ball at the 12 present mark, like your big wizard thing, like Merry Christmas, whatever. And the gift box in the corner is going to be a 2 ball ripoff that you can throw in at any point to help you collect gifts and whatnot. Comboing shots, so very similar to whatchamacallit, Metallica's I forget what it's called. Well, one of the Metallica modes where you light shots, if you combo things quick, you get boosted values on them. If you combo your lit present shots, you'll get boosted values on those. And to get end of ball multipliers, you do a combo. So every combo you do will add +1 end of ball multiplier also. So even if you don't have a shot lit, if you're just shooting around and you're enjoying the flow, you'll get end of ball multipliers. So very simple rules, but it should be fun, right? Let's see. So next, I guess we need to start doing the thing. So I'm gonna move this out of the way. Come on, go all the way here. And in pinball, grab this, drag this over here. Come on. Yeah, all right. Okay. So basically what I do, this is a one-to-one, where's my mouse? Thank you. This is a oh, you're not gonna see a damn thing until I do this. Okay, so this is a one-to-one sketch of, or size of, a actual playfield blank. I have the basic Italian style here at the bottom. If I go to Staples or a wide format printer, this will print up actual playfield size. So I'm drawing right down on playfield size. At the very top, I have some guides so I know what size a ball is, what size like 2 inches, 2.5 inches, and 3 inches are, because that's important when making shot sizes and things. I usually start with kind of a light bluish color for my base sketch. And what I kind of gave a little preview of before a lot of people showed up, or any people. There's a few people here. I did a little hand sketch of just very rough gesture of what I want this thing to be, where I want things roughly to be, and I've since kind of refined it in my mind since I was thinking about this week. So the first thing with this is I'll create a new layer, and this is going to be the play fields street. So this is going to be like the street level part of the play field, and draw it out. So it with what I want to do, like I said, I want six. Come on, zoom out. I want 6 shots, and I need to make sure these shots kind of come from these flippers down here. There's going to be a shot going this way around that loops in here. There's going to be a shot that kind of loops around this way to a flipper over here somewhere, right? There's going to be a ramp kind of over here somewhere. This shot's going to come a little lower. There's going to be a gift box over here and another ramp kind of coming this way. So that's kind of like the rough idea of what I want to do with this. And so now I'm just kind of go in and refine things. And if you guys have questions along the way, I'll try and keep my eyes over at comments way over on the other side of my office, because I can't get the comments right here because reasons. But yeah, that's the basic gesture. And this, and I'm going to be doing different layers, and each layer is going to have its own color. So the street level, I usually do blue. Then the primary ramp, I'm going to usually do red, kind of a reddish. The secondary ramp is going to be over here somewhere, if I can fit it, depending, because I want a flipper here and I want kind of a flipper over here type of thing, which may or may not work because I also want this shot to go up. So I'll have to play with it a little bit. So this other ramp over here is going to be probably green, and this one's I'll probably make gray, since this is going to be the chimney or the fireplace ramp over here. Yeah. So let's see. So this comes up over here, but I do want some gift boxes here. Let's see. Yeah, so this, I do want some gift boxes or some targets over here. So this needs to be more like here-ish. So be like that. So that if I want 3 targets there, that's kind of where that's got to be, right? But I can probably pull these things in a little bit. To here. That way I can widen this a bit. Select. And in doing that, this needs to go up a little bit. So with this, I'm going to want to use these smaller posts down here, so I can make this more like this, we'll say. This right here is an adjustment post, and I tend to design my adjustment posts kind of in the middle of the thing. So in order to get, yeah, so right here, I'm going to need like a double ring here. Ish. Because then this adjustment post, you can't see my hand when I poke. This adjustment post here can go up and down, widening or closing this. this actually probably should go down here a little bit more. And when I get in the CAD, I'll be able to refine this a bit better, because obviously these posts are still slightly larger than this, but remember the rubber goes out and around this a little bit, right? And with how I design my stuff, the rubber kind of kisses the end of this. Like, yay. So with that kind of with that kind of direction in mind, if I have 3 targets here, now these 3 targets, if I just have them vertical, then the ball will reflect like up this way, and that kind of goes in no man's land. If I bring them out this way a little bit, then it'll reflect a little more down and over. So I think I'm going to do that. Uh, so I still want 3 targets here if I can fit them. And a target is roughly the size of a ball. And a ball is, well, if I give it like 1 1/4 size. So if here's the ball here, which is the size of my pinky. So if I do like 1 pinky, 2 pinky, 3 pinky. So yeah, this is roughly three targets here in size. So I was kind of right. Okay. And in doing that, this guy down here. So what I also sometimes do is I'll create another layer, and let's use gray for this. So if a ball is this size, pull the ball down, and I'll kind of see. Will you let me grab? Will you let me? No, you won't. You won't let me grab, huh? If I zoom in, now will you let? Yeah. So if I take a ball size here, roughly where it would be to go up there. I'll draw like guidelines. So this, if this line goes here, and this line is going to be like, it tapers open a little bit. So for sure, I need at least that space to get in there, because then that'll be roughly 2 balls in size. Oh, don't do that. Or 1.5 balls by the time it gets up here. So 1, 2. So if I assume it's going to be like this in size in this way, there. This is more or less my guide to my orbit, because I don't care about those targets per se. Those targets can be fairly sloppy. This orbit needs to be fairly robust in how I define like where things need to go. So yeah, that's definitely got to be the size for the orbit. That gives you enough space and leeway to get in there. Um, yeah, because if another ball goes up here, yeah, yeah, that'll give me about 2 1/4, 2.5 inch for this section. So yeah, I need a kind of a post here. So this definitely needs to be here-ish, right? And if I want this to come down more this way, and this needs to kind of come like this. So it's gonna kind of go like that, right? Sorry if I'm being quiet at the moment. Okay, so that's where this orbit more or less needs to go. And I can refine that a little later on. And what I want this orbit to do is loop over to a flipper over here. So before I continue that, I need to figure out how this orbit then needs to taper. This orbit needs to taper into a ball size, like roughly there. And that tells me where this needs to go. And so this is a so this right here is a good. Here, let me zoom in. This section right around here is a good one. I'm sorry, is a good 2¼ to 2�3/8 wide, which is plenty big enough to get in. And then it's gonna taper and become more and more ball sized. The more it gets closer to this rail over here. Okay, and if you remember, the ball size is this roughly. And if I put this here, yeah, so this is maybe 1¼ inch, and the ball is 1 1/16. So this should be roughly correct. This should be roughly correct for this section here. Oh, I was drawing on the ball. That's right. Yeah. Okay, so that's going to kind of go up this way. And it tapers in. And that taper can probably be a little more shallow. Like that. Again, a lot of this will get refined a little bit better in CAD. I definitely want it to be roughly here. Okay. All right, so with that said, a ramp, I usually make a ramp about 2¼ to 2½ wide at the mouth over here, over in this section. And I have a 2¼ size right here. So what I can do, I create another layer. I can then trace this like I did previously. So this is 2½ roughly. And drag this thing down. Kind of to where the ramp mouth is. Now, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight across like that, right? Because of how ramps are, you can have a slightly diagonal mouth and it's still going to be fairly wide. So if I take this guy and I rotate him like yay, maybe. No, don't do the whole thing. And move him kind of up. What do you? It's not what I want. Why are you? Oh, because I'm on the wrong layer. What the hell? This is all right. Hang on, my layers got screwed. All right. Seriously? I want layer 4. Thank you. Pull this up like this. So I also want this over a little bit because I kind of want to get a target here. Because if I put it, stop moving around. If I put a target right here, then that'll widen this mouth a little bit, and that'll give me a entry target for this ramp. And I want 2 more targets on this side as well, underneath the flipper that goes here. And the flipper might be a little higher up too. I'll need to play with that. But I do want the ramp straight enough to here so you can backhand straight up it. or you can forehand here. So with that said, maybe I don't want to rotate this. Maybe I want this more flat here, so I can have a couple targets like that. Yeah, I think I'll do that. We'll see how that goes. All right. Well, anyways, come on. This guy is then gonna, yeah. So now this opens up more. I'm gonna have a target here. And this melt is this left orbit melt is still quite wide. So I don't have to worry too much about that. Just because the diagonal opening here is still this is probably close to 2 3/4 inches now, this diagonal opening. You're not necessarily going to be able to backhand it, but forehanding it is not going to be difficult. I want bumper post here, maybe. I don't know yet. I'll just put that there for funsies. And the ramp is going to come straight up this way. Now, if you brick this ramp, you're going to end up going straight down right to this flipper or straight down, kind of nicking the slingshot. So it's not that unsafe. But what I also want to do with this ramp is with this right flipper, yes, you can shoot it. You can probably shoot it straight up fine, but I think I want to add a little bit of a curve coming out this way. Kind of like Infinity Quest does in some of its ramps, just to make that work well. But I still want this side to be more straight, because if I make this side curved, then this guy won't have like a smooth shot straight up. Because when you shoot straight up, you're really going to be going straight up, and I want to make sure that that doesn't affect it. So I don't really want to curve that side. So this goes here. And this ramp's going to be pretty high, so this is more or less going to be where the bottom of this ramp footprint is. At least what I think it's going to be, like right down like right there. And then over here, I want a couple more targets. So these targets, make one a little more flat again. And then diagonal. So these are spot targets. So these spot targets, these three, I want related to this ramp. These three I want related to this orbit. And then, yeah. So the flipper, well, this orbit can be no more than this, coming around this way. Just based on where this ramp is going to be and where the height of this ramp is going to be. And I'll adjust that ramp a little later on. Another trick I'm going to use over here with this right orbit, anyone who knows Black Rose, it has a back little sneak around to the left orbit from the upper flipper, and it just has like a 3/4 inch piece of plywood that's sitting on top with a little bit of flap. I'm going to do the same thing, but instead of it going around this way, it's going to come around this way to this flipper. So you shoot the left orbit, it brings you to this flipper. You shoot this upper section, it loops around. And this will come up and around this way, and then diagonal around this flipper. I don't know if you guys can see, but I have let's see if I can move this. I can rotate this thing around, and that's what I did here. Let's get this back where it needs to be. All right. So I rotated it vertical so I can more easily get around this curve. I think that's more or less the outer curve I want. I might adjust this far section a little bit, but I'll know once I start adding the doodads in the middle. Make sure this does not go past my wood border. Okay. So now the nice thing with this is around this back section, it only really needs to be about 1.5 inches in size, which is a little bigger than the ball, right? So I can again bring my little ball template over there, and I can measure it as I do the lower half. So this obviously needs to go down this way, just eyeballing it around. And this probably needs to be a smoother transition right here. The smoother your transitions, the better they are, or the better it is for the ball to go around it. The sharper the transitions, the more abrupt it is for the ball, and the less and the more vibration you're gonna get. I want to make this as smooth as possible, while still having some straight, because I definitely want a straight right here for a switch. I like putting my switches on straights because that guarantees that they get triggered. So now I know for a fact right here, this space right here from here to here is like 1 3/8 inch or some such, because hey, hi Jake. So I know this section right here is 1 3/8 about, because it has the two little wood border guides I have. So that kind of helps me here. So I definitely want to use that for where my switch goes. And it can taper out this way a little bit because my switch is going to probably go about here-ish, right? And then around here, it can stay around that size. And this curve is fine. Now, right up here is going to be a problem, because if I make this too gradual like this, then the ball could stop right here. And that happens a lot in my games, and I don't want that to happen on this one. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to have a little V cut right here, so the ball can't possibly get stuck there. And with this, I'm going to have to come up with some other thing for that. So this might be like a sneak into the present over in the corner. That might be kind of neat. That will maybe give you a sneaky lock or something, question mark. But I don't know for sure, but I definitely want something here so the ball doesn't get stuck. And no, I'm not going to put lanes on this. No, I'm not going to put jet bumpers or anything. I don't tend to put a lot of jet bumpers in my game. Or if I do, I put like maybe 1 or 2 in various locations. But I don't tend to put the traditional triad of jet bumpers. Haunted Cruise aside, because that was one of the earlier ones I've done. There's a bunch of layouts that I've made that don't even have jet bumpers. They're kind of an afterthought. They take up such a huge amount of real estate to work. I don't tend to like to use them that much. But they do have their place, for sure. So this is going to loop around. Yeah, all right, so that's pretty gradual going that way. This width is pretty good. So now I'm gonna grab my friend Mr. Ball on Mr. Ball's layer, and I'm gonna move him to a couple different spots. Not you. I want Mr. Ball. So Mr. Ball, yeah, all right. So this is not quite wide. I'm gonna need to widen this a little bit. You can see it's like just barely the size of a ball. Hello, hi Terry. How are you doing? Getting a whole bunch of people in and out on this thing now. Um, yeah. So this is almost like too thin for Mr. Ball. It's gonna get a lot of rattle over in here. I don't want that. And this is why I make these ball guides. So let's throw another Mr. Ball in here. And let's bring you over this way. And I'm just going to put a bunch of these around so I make sure that I have... Yeah, this is getting really thin over here. Not you. All right, so there's a bunch of balls. Okay, so there's my orbit ball. So now I'm going to kind of fix this section a little bit. This definitely needs to be wider. So maybe I'll make this in the kind of go in the middle of this hole right here. That widens that enough so there's less of a rattle. Curves down this way. Oh, thanks, Terry. Yeah, I figured this would be kind of fun for people to see this, and it'll give me like a little project for the holidays too. I figured by the come midnight or 1 o'clock tonight, I'll have this layout done, and I'll be able to CAD it. So and I'll make the CAD on Wednesday. Wednesday 9 p.m. is the plan at least, so people can see how I turn this into CAD. Which, since this is a one-to-one size, I just throw this on the playfield and I can just draw right on top of it in CAD, and it makes really, really, really easy to realize some of these things and make them 3D. But thanks to my little ball templates here, I now know I'm gonna have enough space coming around here for this, and it's not gonna rattle. But right here, I'm gonna pull this down a little bit and make it a little wider, because if it's too thin, then the ball won't make it around this V here, because it could have just enough and then hit here and go down, and I want it to continue around with little lobs. But I also don't want to give it too much free play that it doesn't go where I really kind of want it to, and it doesn't feel smooth. So now this is, if this is one in, this is probably one in, this might be 1.5. I might want this a little wider. Maybe 1 3/8 inch by the time I bring it to CAD. Just pull this down this way. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. And it's going to be similar on this side. Actually, this side is already quite wide, so that's less of an issue. That's going to open up a little bit that way. Okay, so we have this. Now this V cut here can be exactly like a ball's width. So I'll bring that down like there. It can be, because when you're controlling the ball, or when the layout can control where the ball goes in a very meticulous manner, it can be much closer to ball size. It can't be perfectly ball size because of tolerances, but it can be closer to like 1 1/8 wide instead of 1.5 or 1 3/8 or something. Where, because the player is very sloppy when they shoot, and you want the player to not have to be super precise. I know a lot of people didn't like Houdini because of how precise you have to be with some of those shots that are like almost exactly ball size, and those are a lot of fun in some spots. I enjoy those shots, but for the general public, you need to have a little wider. But in this case right here, I know exactly how big a ball is going to be. So there'd be like a post right here. There'd be like a post right here. I know exactly how big the ball is. I don't have to worry about it rattling around. Gravity is working in my favor going this way, so I can make it basically exactly ball size, and it can come down this way, ish. That still leaves me enough space underneath here to do what I want to do with Christmas present things. So kind of around there. Because then over here is going to be what the present is, and then I'm going to need something here. So I don't quite know what that's going to be yet. Yeah, I'm hoping, I'm excited to see it too. I want this done by like a little bit after Christmas Eve, because you know I'd get it done sooner, but I have life. All right, so we have this ball path. We have now we need to define this. So this is currently coming up and around, and to really make this smooth to this flipper, it kind of needs to come like this, right? And transition down like this. So, and the flipper's kind of here ish, something like that. I'll figure that out in a minute. And actually this should come up more, come down this way. That way there's, when it drops here, it has more of a time to slide around rather than rattle and not necessarily go where the flipper needs to go. I wouldn't say it's a time crunch. It's a goal. If I don't have a goal, I won't get anything done, and I like to push myself as well. So, with that said, again, right here, I can guarantee it's going to be about ball width, and I also want it to drop very particularly, so I can make this a little tighter than I normally would if someone was shooting it. But over here, it needs to be a little wider. Like here. Yeah. Something like this. Yeah, something like this. So in doing that, let's see, what can I do down here? Can I widen this all? I can't really widen this at all. Well, if I widen this way, if I do this, is this really helping me any? It's not helping me, but it might give the perception of a wider guide to make it easier for someone to shoot. So yeah, I think I'll widen this a little bit now that I know where that upper part's going. Yeah. So I'm gonna get rid of this post because this is hidden behind this target, so I don't have to worry about that. And I can widen this, make it more gradual coming up this way. So now when someone shoots up this way, it just has that perception that it's a wide shot. Like if I zoom out a little bit again, if you look at that now, that definitely looks like it's wider and easier to shoot than my, well, there's not much I can do about my connection. It's I'm running this off of a Mac laptop, and it's trying to do a lot of things it doesn't want to do. Photoshop is very heavy, so there's one thing. Actually, I can try one. Let's see if I do. Okay, I'm I'm gonna try that. There's not really a lot I can do. This is my first time trying to do this here, so I mean, it's saying it's only using 6% CPU. It should, and it's saying 0 drop frame. So I don't know. Maybe the video will be smooth, like the playback video. I don't know. But I do know Photoshop does make my computer burn up, and it is getting quite hot. But anyways, yeah. Now the perception of this shot here is now a little bit, makes it seem like it's easier because it's wider. And what I can even do is I can take this and I can make it seem even wider without screwing my shot here. And I can potentially do this. Now, I have a curve there. I definitely need to have like a mount here. So I need to make sure that that's flat over there. Just like I have a mount here, and then this is where the curve kind of begins to a mount over here. And that's all underneath things. But I like to kind of draw those in so I roughly know where, like, what my top mounting positions are. Yeah, but I like that. I like this orbit now. This is seeming pretty generous with what it allows the player to do. And again, it tapers in, but it tapers in gradually enough that it shouldn't really be rattly. It shouldn't really have too much of an issue. It guides the ball pretty well. I'm gonna have a switch, I guess, right here. Oh, right. So, like I said, this is gonna be lifted up above the play fields on another sheet of plywood, a 3/4 inch plywood. So that sheet of plywood is gonna be like right here down to here, and it's gonna, be maybe like this block here, right? So maybe that's the plywood piece that this ramp is on, or that this little raised element is on, and the ramp piece is gonna come like here, okay? Maybe a little further out. Maybe it's gonna even come as far down as here, just so it's nice and gradual, and it's not high. It's 3/4 of an inch high. So that ramp kind of goes up and around to drop it. So with that said, I probably can't put a switch here. I can put like an above switch maybe here, right? So that'll be, something like that, a switch. I guess would be safer to put the switch on this side, right? So you know those ramp flap switches that you see on some games. If I put that over here, so now you loop around. Once you're going around, you're not going to get stuck on this, and it'll trigger only once you've made the crest of this curve. Once you actually make the shot, and then it'll drop down. So I think I'll do that. Now this over here, I do want to have another ramp here. I want a ramp this way, over this way. So how am I going to do this? So this needs to be about yay wide here to make it shootable, right? So let's see where everything is. Let's see where everything is. Okay, so if this shoots straight up this way and this way, I'll be able to hit the present here by backhanding. The present here, and I'll be maybe I'll be able to get this ramp here. This shot, for sure, I'm going to be able to get the ramp here in the orbit. I won't be able to get depending on where I put the present. No, I don't think I'll be able to get the present unless I move the ramp further down. The ramp is down here more. Yeah. So you need to be able to see this flipper. This should come down like this. So how about I draw a flipper and this side. Now I can move these around, roughly. You there. Move you. Need to erase some things first. Let's see. Erase all this junk. So I can more easily put that flipper over there. And then that'll be more accurate because there's going to be a full-size flipper that's here-ish. I definitely want to rotate this a little bit. Like there. Then that'll have a smooth transition to the flipper. I now know where my transition needs to be. That. Right? That'll guarantee you get to the flipper. That the flipper is tucked in right with this ramp, but you can still see it. It's right in front of your face. It's blocked by these targets here, which actually means I can take this target and I can rotate it like this, right? So now that opens up this shot more, and I might even be able, yeah, now I'll be able to possibly even get the present over here from the lower flipper. So yeah, that's good. I like that. I like that. Let's see. All right, so that fixes that flipper. Now with this comes down this way. So this flipper can definitely be here-ish. Can definitely be here-ish. And I guess the question is with this guy, I'll probably just do a simple thing where you can hit one of these targets or something, so this can maybe loop out this way. Because I guess why not? Otherwise, this will need to come down lower, or it'll need to go further out to allow the ball to get up and over it. Or I'd need another ramp, and I really don't want to make another ramp on that side. But it might be better if if you hard punch the ball, it loops around, you can loop around the ramp. That might be actually more fun, so I'm not going to do that. This will definitely stay going up this way. I'll just have to figure out how that section works. So I'll leave this like this. Up there, this has like a little thing behind it. Because by this point, you're gonna, around here, you're gonna go up. You're gonna go slightly above the flipper. You don't have to go too high above the flipper. Yeah. Well, as it is, this needs to go more like, I don't like that. I don't like that. This is not gonna do that. This is not gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this like this for now. When this comes down and around, you're gonna hit this post, but I might fiddle with this section a little bit because you can't easily shoot over here. So I could Yeah, I can maybe do something over here. I don't quite know what, but I can do something over there. I'll figure that out when I get to it. But I do know I want a ramp here. And I want it, well, it's not going to be shootable from the lower flipper because the lower flipper just can't see that ramp. Because this is 100% in the way of that ramp. And that's fine. So that's just going to be an upper flipper ramp. That's okay. But I do want a ramp right there. It just comes out to here. And that ramp is technically a shot. So that's going to be a shot. I wondered. So that's about 2.5 inches. Yeah, I mean that's high enough to, because this isn't. This is gonna go. Let's see, this is 3. Yeah. But this ramp. Yeah, all right. So this needs. Yeah, I think this is gonna be okay. It can be somewhat steep. It should work okay. The other ramp I want is gonna be over this way. This I do want hittable by this flipper, which it definitely looks like it can be. And it's going to be curved around like that. And this ramp doesn't have to go that high. This only has to go 1.5 inches. So that'll be fine. This isn't giving me a lot of room for my Christmas present stuff now, is it? No, not all my designs are based off of it. I do have, like, this one is using that late playfield size, but just because it's easy for me to get the cabinets for that. But no, I have some designs that use full size playfield as well. You're not going to see it here because that's not what I'm designing. But the only difference is a full size playfield comes out to here, right? It's an extra 2 inches, 2.5 inches. This is 43 inches versus 45, 46 inches. All right, Terry. See ya. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, so this is only a couple inches shorter, so it's really not that big of a deal to extend things out. And if I extended some of these things out, then some of these loops would be a little bit bigger, and I would have a little bit more space over in this section for a couple more things. But I'm gonna have to concede, I think, if I want ramps to work the way that uh, I'd like, and I think the flow is a little bit more important than some particular shots. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe if I pull this down more, then I have more spots up here because I do want to have a Christmas tree right here. I actually bought a Christmas tree. So I found this guy at Michael's. Uh, Getting glitter everywhere now. I got this guy at Michael's, and it is inches, like 6 inches tall. So it like fits perfectly on a piece of plastic on the playfield, and I'd like to put it like right where my mouse cursor is on there, and some presents and things under it. So I think that'll be kind of fun. It was like $3 at Michael's or something like that. Let's see. So yeah, I can pull that down lower, I think, and still make it so this flipper can make it. Because that's the biggest thing. I want you to be able to loop around and flip this way. So, but if I pull it lower, I need to also pull it in more because I don't have a lot of space here. I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right. But there is a shot over here. So actually, you know, for simplicity's sake, I might just do these same things over here. But what can I do to make this shot interesting? What can I do to make this shot interesting? Because for this I want a little target here and a little target here. Excuse me. For this I want a little target here and a little target here. For this shot, I don't know. What do I want to do for that? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, I have a 16 target quota, so that's plenty. Oh, and you can see how this is kind of wiggling underneath the ramp. So I definitely need to be careful where this ramp goes. And I honestly, this might need to be a subway with a scoop over here or over here or something. Is that this ramp seems awfully large though. The real estate on this seems awfully large. Which means this, oof, I don't want to put it over here. If I do, this whole thing needs to be steeper. If I put this here, well, I guess I could put it, no, I can put this right here. I can put this switch right here. I can put a switch right here. That way I know which direction it's going, so you have to click both of them. If I put this too low, then if the ball's going really slow, it can get stuck on a switch. This one, not so much because it's steep enough, but this one for sure. I have that problem with Magic Forest. So I don't want to do that again. But if I have it here, if the ball gets stuck here, it's just going to fall down this way. Same with here. It'll just fall down this way, which is fine. So yeah, I'll put a switch here. That frees this switch up. That means this can come out this way. Right, that can come out that way. So how is the whole gift box thing gonna work? Because the gift box, there's gonna be a drop target kind of in front of it, and you're gonna, all right. Well, if the drop target's there, and the loop around goes like this, yeah, see that's gonna be a little tight. It's gonna be a little tight. I can lower this ramp, can't I? Is this? Yeah, I can lower this ramp a bit, so I'm gonna do that. I just need to be careful because if it goes too low, no, don't move. If it goes too low, then this flipper here can't hit it. For Christ's sake. That's probably as low as I can go with that and still have this hittable. But that might give me the space I need over here because this needs to come down this way for sure. Well, this actually, I really want this to be like this. for that to happen. All right, so this orbit, like I said, it might need to be adjusted. Yeah, that orbit might need to be adjusted. Excuse me. So it needs to pull up a little bit more. That makes this less steep, which I'm not a fan of, but it's still okay, I think. So I pull this up. Pull you up to about there. This becomes a lot more flat up at the top here, which is a bit of a problem, but it's probably going to be okay. Where's my ball layer? Is it me? Yeah. All right. So not you. So these guys need to move. Stop that. Move up to there. There. Let's come down to there. Okay. Um, that comes around. This way. This comes around. This way. The switch is right here-ish. This is right there. So now this can come over. I can have like a thin guide there. So I want a disappearing post right here. Probably like right here. Oh no, it can't be there. Ball needs to be able to drop down. So this needs to be like right here. That's where that disappearing post is to keep the ball in place. Goes down and comes back out this way. This, which means there needs to be a switch like right here for this to rest on. There. This, oh yeah, this can be widened a little bit, right? So this needs to loop down. This technically needs to loop like this, so you can shoot up and in and rest on the switch. Underneath here, I am gonna need like right here-ish a one-way gate. That way the ball can't pop back out, because when you shoot really hard, boom, this way, it's gonna get vibrations. So you might hit the switch and pop back out. So I'm gonna need a one-way gate there so you can't go back out. Especially because it's at an angle. If it was more in, if it was more serpentine, then it's going to be less of a problem. But it's not. So it's going to need. It's definitely going to need to have a gate, a one-way gate here going this way. This needs to be a little wider. Go in, which then, but begs the question: where the hell did this thing go? So actually, oh shit, because this ramp's here. I don't know what I'm asking. I really don't want to add another device over there. I don't know where that's going to go yet. I just know it's needed. Oh yeah, I said this needs to be wider anyways. So this can still be wide-ish. Here. That's getting really flat. I don't like that. Getting really flat. Really flat. These circles here, if anyone's interested, these are going to be those black bumper posts. I like to put them kind of on the edges of my my guide rails and major points of intersection, so it adds rigidity where the ball kind of bounces around and things. What I would love is if this can come this way somehow. I would love it if that come that way, but I don't think it's going to be able to because this ramp's right here. And this ramp is already pretty steep, and I don't want to get any steeper than that. Where's my... So if I want... So this thing is 3/4 plus 1 1/8. So that's 1 7/8 high plus another 1/2 inch. So 2 3/8 high. That is here on the thing. So 2 3/8. And if I'm gonna get the other ruler. All right, I got two rulers. One that I can use as a ramp, and one because it's a little flexible, and one I can use as a rigid body. So what I'm measuring right now is this just the heights of this section over here, where I want the ball to go and where this ramp needs to be, because right at this point here, it needs to be 1 1/8 or 1 1/8 tall. Okay, and 1 1/8 tall is roughly this tall. I mean, it doesn't seem like much, but for a ramp, it could be. And in this case, this ramp is currently is actually 2 inches. Am I zoomed in well enough for it to be? No. How about I zoom in so it's 2 inches? Okay, so that's about 2 inches wide. So this ramp here takes approximately, we'll call it 2.5 inches to get 1 1/8 inch high. So that means it's at an angle of 22 degrees, which actually isn't bad at all. So I can do that. I can do that. And what about this section here? This is, oh yeah, that takes 3 inches. Yeah. So actually I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. This is viable. This is viable. It needs to be diagonal like this. Because I don't want the ball to get stuck. And right here needs to be 1 what was it? 1 1/8 inch. So that's across there. That's got to be 1 1/8 inch high, which is doable because if that's 1 1/8 inches, then that's 2 2/8, and by the time it gets, and then I'm sorry, that's up to here is 2 2/8 or 2 1/4, and by the time it gets here, it needs to be about 2 1/2 high. So if it's 2 1/4 here, then but to make 2 1/2 high here, excuse me, when it curves around, this is actually going to be higher than 1 1/8. It's probably going to be 1 3/16 side. So this is doable. This is doable. Yeah, it's doable. So in this case here, what I can do is I can cheat and I can say this is going to be a guide wire. You know, one of those thin little wires. So let's see. Since I know this is roughly 1 to 1, I can take my ruler and I can go right over here. And this is going to be from here to here. This is 2 inches. Little annotations here. So that's going to be 2 inches there. And because this is going so diagonal down there, actually probably steepen this a little bit. Like, yay. Yeah, so I think I can do that. Because once you're looping around here, for the most part, and this I want to be a straightaway. Again, I like straightaways with my switches. Then it can kind of curve around here to another straightaway. That straightaway goes here, here. So then that gives you ample time to get around here. And this, yeah, that loops around. That's fine. You could bash the edge here a little bit. I'm not going to worry about that too much because by the time you're going around this way, once you make it up here, you're kind of committed to going around. So I don't think this is going to be that big of a deal. If I wanted to, I could put, you know, a mini post here, a little bit of a like a stud mini post right there, if I wanted to. And I can leave that in for now, but I don't think I'm going to need that. Curve this a little bit more. Now that that's a straightaway. See how that affected that contour. Didn't affect it too much. All these minor little adjustments based on what you find and what you see. Make it as smooth as possible. Yeah, I don't think you're ever gonna, because of how this curves around, I don't think you're ever gonna really hit that. So you probably don't even need, it. But for shits and giggles, I'll leave that. And this, I can pull this all the way here. Just this little piece of wood. And that can help guide this curve a little bit too. So when the more the ball hits it, the more it'll kind of be protected against lots of deformations. This kind of goes like this, almost right up against it. And the actual playfield, it probably will be right up against it. But I do need to take into consideration the 16th inch metal right there. Just cut across here. I don't want to do sharp corners with that. Sharp corners will break and crumble. But by the time you're at this point here, I can have metal guide extend out just a little bit more, and it'll be generally okay. Actually, if I pull this down where the metal guide meets it, and then cut across, that'll be better. That'll be better. Then that's not a corner. This can just come down this way and across, and that's going to be my wood block. And that'll be my wood block. And this wood block can be its own assembly. This is going to be a mini route into the wood block a little bit. Spring steel there and some screws right there, right? That spring steel is probably, well, that bends down. This might be two spring steels because I'll have a spring steel going up this way, and the spring steel, of course, on the bottom down here, right? Couple rivets. Yeah, so that'll kind of cover that. So that's good. That can be its own assembly more or less. Okay, so I've fixed this drop in, so the ball should not get stuck over there. This section over here, I need to refine a little bit. This is going to be more vertical. This can be this is going to be a curve, right? This definitely needs to be a proper curve that loops around. Get rid of some of this crap because we're not using this anymore. We've redirected our ball catch to the other side. Still needs to be straight. Here. Curve around here. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the darker my lines are, the more accurate the drawing is becoming. It's just like this with like cartooning. The more times you go over something, the more correct it's going to be. Especially as I clean some of these lines up, like these loose lines all down here, they're kind of right now, but the more I work on it, the darker they're going to become, like some of these edge lines, until it's more or less what I want it to be. Hence, this stuff over here is pretty dark now, and there's not a lot of sketch lines because I pretty much solved this section to the best of my knowledge right now. Obviously, when I build this and play test it, everything could go wrong, but based on what I've been thinking about and kind of talking out loud about, I think a lot of this is going to be okay. Clean up some of this junk. Oh, that's what I didn't do over here. So in this section, I'm going to put another bumper poster right here. This is going to be away from the ramp, so it's not going to affect the ramp. It's just going to be, like I said, I like to have bumper posts as my transitions. So this goes to a bumper post, has a straightaway right here. It curves around here to open up where the target is, and there's going to be, another straightaway right here where I mount it. here. I forget, is this still zoomed in to the correct zoom? I think this is the correct zoom. Oh, a little bit more. Yeah, that's close enough. All right. Which means this needs to be half an inch. That cuts off there. Cut that off down there. Make this, yeah. So that this spot target is about that big. So that's like one of those little mini, half-inch spot targets you see in front of ramps all the time. I'm gonna use a couple of those. Now, if I can fit full-size targets, that would be great, but I don't think I can. And I don't want to push it because these spot targets do need to affect this ramp. I don't know, or these spot targets here do need to affect this ramp. I don't know what I'm going to do for affecting this yet because I don't really have targets that I can use for that. That ramp might just not have a shot. That might just be a combo ramp, like a loopy combo ramp. Not a fan of that, but that might just be how it is based on how this is forming. So this ramp right here is the ramp I want to be the candy cane ramp. This left one here, and this right one over here is going to be the whatchamacallit, fireplace chimney ramp. Now that I have this like this, I can actually move this target up more. Also, that up, yeah, I can move that up more. I can make this a rubber, little bouncy rubber. Then I want the gift box here. And this needs to be the entrance to the gift box. So like that. This is basically a wall for the gift box. The drop target. Spins this way. It's going to be where the gift box mounts. This is going to be where the gift box mounts, or something mounts. Which means I have room for a target right here as well. So I should just put another target right here. So yeah, right here I wanted the Christmas tree with presents under it. And that, you can't really get this target from this flipper, but obviously you can with this upper flipper and with the lower flipper. So that's fine. Let's see. Some of these squiggles. So this is another half-inch target. Cut out. Yeah, I guess I can just put a single, well, yeah, I'm going to put a target here. So I think I can fit two full-size targets here. Here and here. What does that look like? So yeah. Yeah, so you might this is a happen. This could be a full-size target right? For this ramp. I think that could be a full-size target. This probably cannot be a full-size target because it'll block way too much. And I still want you to be able to shoot up here with this flipper down here. How does that look so far? So this you can still make with that flipper. Barely. It's a tight shot, but you can make it. You can certainly make it backhanding, I think. No, I think I need to move this over a little bit. I think I need to move to the left. Kill this target and move this whole thing to the left a little bit. Then, yeah, that's where those shots want to go. That's where those shots want to go. So this needs to move over to here. This needs to go away. This loop, this target is just bigger over this way. This loop looks like this. I don't know if that loop's going to work very well. I mean, it could. Post here. I mean, that loop could work okay. It'll definitely work fine with this upper flipper. No, it won't because you're shooting right and you're hitting a hard right there. What does that mean? I just need to curve this more like this. Pull this more like this. Maybe. If you hit that, then you're hitting straight onto that. Yeah, that's not good either. Oh, this is a good. If I pull this down lower for sure, I might just need to pull this lower. Yeah, I might just need to pull this lower. Put this here. Now, this transition can do this. Yeah, I think I need to just pull it lower. That's unfortunate. Well, I guess in doing that, I certainly have another target right here. I can certainly widen this ramp a little bit more. This way. Make that easier to go. I guess this target here can be the Christmas tree target. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm gonna get rid of this spot target. Instead, it's just gonna be a bumper post. It's kind of boring, but I think that makes the most sense there. Let's see, that can be seen by this. That can be seen by this. Obviously, that can be seen by this. I really wish I could just loop this around a little bit more. This needs to come down. There. This rubber goes like this. Now we can put rubber there because you're not directly shooting that, and if anything, that's just a ricochet. Yeah, that's just a ricochet there. So that should be okay. Still not loving this up here. I do want this to come down more. And this ramp, since we discussed that this right here is going to be fine to get up and over here, this is about the same. So my drop dead point is there. That needs to come out this way more. Ooh, ooh. I'm not loving that. Not loving. I don't know if I'm loving that. Because that makes this really thin down here. It really needs to be like that. I can bend this like here. I mean, I can still keep that wide. That's going to be way down here at the tip to get up. You can still make it, but it's definitely going to be way at the tip. Yeah. This there, there, this. This needs to be somewhat straight along here. Yeah, I actually think that's better because then if you hit that, that's going to bounce it a little bit more. It's here. I don't there. Actually, yeah, I do. This does not need to be that. I don't really need a bumper post there. Just come right down to there. Up down post. There it goes across. I'm going to put a post here. So this I want this to pull in more. So yeah, honestly, I guess this can be a wire right here. This can be a wire that this transitions to. Wire that transitions to, and this I'm gonna go here and have like a foot right there because this is gonna have a foot right here. Yeah, all right. That'll work. That'll work. So also right here and right here. Yeah, all right. This is gonna work. This will work. The ball isn't gonna really get disturbed by that. All right. Yeah, I think that'll work. Now this thing over here, this can probably also be a wire. Because again, it's doesn't need to be very high. And that can actually help with the ramp a little bit, because the ramp doesn't need to then be as high as it technically needs to be. Because that means right here-ish is where it actually needs to be 1 1/8. Just so it's above the ball, and that can, yeah. So I mean, this ramp's gonna be fine anyways, because I still have this entry down here to worry about. You need to have a ramp flap. So this target's in the way of that. Is it? No, I mean this ramp flap can fit underneath the target a little bit, like right there. Because the ramp base is here. This is where the ramp base is going to be. Right? That's roughly where the ramp flap's going to be. Anyways, I don't need to draw that. I'm going to draw the ramp flap with the ramp when I get to the ramp. I haven't even gotten to the ramps yet. That's basically where the base is going to be. So that should be okay. Yeah. This down here, yeah, because the ramp flap's going to be down there. This ramp base is going to be, you know, a little more trapezoidal. How it is. Be more like that. Leave a little bit of the skyline just so I know. There's that ramp base. Now this ramp base is also going to be kind of like this. It needs to push further back a little bit. Yeah. And welcome back, Peter. How have you been? I'm still here, obviously, refining things more and more. Okay, so I think that section is largely figured out. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do much more over here. I mean, I don't really like a wire here, a wire guide, because those things tend to pop out sometimes. But they're so low and they're so convenient. I think I am just gonna leave this as a wire guide. And there's really not gonna be a whole lot of hard hits in this section. Staying in tonight. That is good. You can be cool like me on at your workbench, doing productive things. Because who needs to drink, right? Actually, I'm thinking about getting a drink soon. It's 11 o'clock here, and I might make some more interesting decisions after I have a little bit of something. Yeah. Post, big post. Those posts are way too big compared to posts that I'm actually using. But that means when I go to CAD, it'll be a bit better. Now this tiny, that tiny target, this definitely needs to be like a mini target over here because I can't fit a full-size target there. There's no way I'm gonna be able to fit a full-size target. Oh, you're all right. Well, maybe once I finish this can, I'll go get a drink. I'm almost done with it, anyways. Um, yeah. All right. So I got a loop that goes around here. You can loop that around a bit. I still don't like how thin this is. I'm gonna widen this up. That's better. All right. Okay. All right. So you can loop around here, come bash the target, bash a target, or loop to this ramp. You can backhand, oh, I'm sorry. So that was one. You can shoot the sleigh ramp. You can backhand the present target. You might be able to backhand this ramp. You know, it's possible that this might be backhandable. I don't know. You can certainly forehand this, loop around the ramp. Um, so to get to this guy, you don't really have an easy way to get to this guy, do you? I mean, you can shoot the present to drop out, but there's nothing that really brings you around this way except for him. I don't know how much I like that. I don't know how much I like that. Because this loops around again to there. This loops into this ramp. This loops and hits that. But there's no way to get there. And I don't want the sleigh ramp to just drop you there because that's very, very whatchamacallit, Black Rose. And I don't want to do that. I want the sleigh ramp to come all the way around. This can't get this ramp. No, this will hit this target. It won't hit this ramp. That's fine. There's nothing I can do about that if I want this flipper here. If I remove the flipper, obviously you can get it, or if I move the flipper up, then you won't be able to see the flipper because of the sleigh ramp, then it will screw up all these shots. So I'm okay with that. Um, so in my original design that I was thinking on here, I did have another shot for this to loop around, but there's not enough space for that shot here. You know, once you actually go and design it, you realize that some things just don't work well. I don't want to just make it up and target like Jurassic Park. That's kind of dumb. I want a little more loopy loops. Uh, well, I mean, I might just have to live with this because this isn't that bad. This loops to there. This loops to there. Because you can go there, there. You can go back and forth there. You can loop that there. I mean, I could add a diverter here to go around, but then that overcomplicates this. Again, I want this to be done in uh, 2 real months, maybe 1 man month, three man weeks. So I don't want to overcomplicate that. And let's see what I have right now is the 3 ramps. I have the drop target. I have the up down post. I got 4 flippers. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 targets. Well, 9, probably 10 over here. Yeah, so on this side, I'm going to be boring, and I'm going to add a couple targets here. Over here, there's going to be like 2 targets over here that you hit to like this side. Yeah, I'm just going to be boring like that because that's how I roll right now. Yeah, in fact, yeah, so those 2 targets will light this. These 2 targets will light this. This target will, I guess, light this ramp. This target might be easy to get, but the ramp might not be easy to get. These 3 targets will light this ramp. These 3 targets will light this left orbit. You know, I should probably put a switch here too. That way I can detect if you do a weird little sneak. Um, you know, yeah, sure. That way I'll know. Okay. So I think that's the bulk of the street level stuff. So I'm gonna erase some of the. It's not erase. Is that erase? I'm gonna erase a bunch of these other scribbles. And then I'm gonna work on some of the ramps. As I do the ramps, I'm probably gonna have to go back and work on street level a little bit because the ramps are going to need to be mounted somehow, and the street level may get in the way of where I need to mount the ramps in some spots. So I will find out once I get to that. That's guide holes and guidelines and everything. Um, okay, this is the switch needs to go right all the way up there. It really needs to kiss the top because of how gradual this is. If the ball stops here, it's going to go down. That's good. And this, I really want this switch to kiss the top as well. That way, if the ball tries to slow down, it can just go down. Okay. Um, that's all that. That's all that. think this is all pretty good. It's not pretty good. Okay, ramps. Still got a lot of this junk in here, huh? Okay, so the ramps, I choose different layers and different colors to make life easy. The first ramp is, I don't know, what do you think? Oh wow, there's a very, very funny pattern right there. That's water. Oh, that's because wow, humbug. All right, hold on. Yeah, that was caused by an erroneous. So these are all guide sketches, right? Merge down. Merge down. Okay, these are all the guide sketches that I was using in the fall. So that's, I can hide that for now. All right, so new layer. So this is going to be the sleigh ramp. Well, all right, probably close enough. All right, the sleigh ramp is not going to be flat filled. The sleigh ramp is going to come up. I said it was going to kind of taper a little bit this way. It's going to come around. I don't think I wanted to go that far back. I wanted to hit the wood border, which is right here. So using a little bit more for this thing. Bigger. Bigger. This tapers out. Kind of like that-ish. This side and straight up and slowly curves in like so. Okay, so if you shoot, oh, that one over. Come on. All right, if you shoot this way, this taper kind of catches the ball and brings it around. I think, I guess, maybe. I, I, I guess. And if I shoot straight up here, this is definitely a straight path, and then it can ricochet and bounce around. Now the trick with the sleigh ramp is actually, I don't know if I want this contour with it. I think I actually want it to be a bit steeper right here because I want it to curve in on itself here like this. That's going to be the apex of the ramp right there. This. Now the problem with this is if you shoot straight up this way, you will hit this and rattle around, but you should still make it around okay. And that should allow you to backhand and forehand this thing. Though I don't know if I like this that much. I almost want this to curve in this way a little bit more. Because if you backhand, that'll still glide across it. I think, maybe. As long as it's semi-straight until you get to this part here. I think that's still backhandable. If your ball's here, it goes straight up. Yeah, I think that's still backhandable. It might not be because of how high this ramp needs to be, and if that's the case, so be it. But I think I needed to kind of go that way a little bit more. So when you shoot this way, it's definitely going to catch it and curve it around. The other important thing too is I need the ramp to flex a little bit because I'm going to make this ramp flat. I'm going to form it flat, and uh, every piece of plastic has a flexing point where that it can go down. So if I make this ramp flat, like yay, and then I bend it, it'll have a very smooth spline transition coming up and around. Whereas if I try to form the whole thing, it's gonna be a pain in the ass to form, and I don't want to do it. But in order to make that flex work, I can't flex straightaways like I can with this because the ramp is far more rigid. It's like this ruler. I just can't flex this one. But I can, and I don't have an example of it here, unfortunately. But around curves like this upper curve, I can flex there. So this whole section, this whole curve here, allows me to flex and bend this down, and then this section can be kind of flat. So that's why I kind of want to do that. But I also don't want this to be so close to the present. So I might just need to pull this ramp up a little bit more. So I think I'm going to do that. I still want this shape though. So I'm going to, again, drag and pull. Drag and pull it up. We don't have to do the whole thing again. And then fix this part of the curve. Fix this part of the curve. Okay, so now, like I said, up to this point, right here, everything over here I can flex. I can flex that down. Everything where this arrow is that way. That's my flex point. And since that's my flex point, that means I need to mount over here. So let's draw our flanges for a minute. Flange comes out about 1/2 inch. And this flange needs to remain consistently thin around here. Otherwise, the flex won't work. Because again, if you add too thick of a flange, it'll be equivalent of like a flat straightaway. And then right here is where it's going to mount. And then on this side, it's going to be similar. This is going to come up and around, and it's going to remain about 1/2 inch away the whole way around. Whole way around. And then right here, it's going to flatten out. I'm going to mount it right here, right on the top of this this wood border. And then again, I can pull this over to here, and I can add another mount right here. And that's my sleigh rail. And then, right here, between this point and this point, I can add, if I design my stuff right, and it'll take a little bit of wiggling in CAD, but if I design my stuff right, then right here I can have another, little switch type of thing here for detecting going around the ramp. So I think that's how it's going to do. So everything, like I said, everything to the left of the switch is flexible. It can flex up. So I can make this ramp flat. And then everything after the switch is going to be flat. It's completely flat. And it'll be working with gravity. This is against gravity. And then at this point here, it's going to be working with gravity. So that should make that work. This can certainly come up a little bit more. This is going to be more of an oval shape, because oval shapes are the cool thing to do when I need to pull this up so it's close to the wood border there. Backboard, I mean. That's where the backboard is. Rid of these sketchiness. This sketchy. Alright, so that's that. Has a thing up there. It's going to come down this way, more or less parallel this thing. Now I also want this ramp to cut across, because it's fun to see things cut across. If I have a big present right here, which is still a little bit of a problem, but I can probably use a facade, and you can maybe go behind the present a little bit, I guess. Question mark. Um, that's not going to be a big problem. I don't want to cover up this entrance of this ramp. I don't think. So this needs to come down more. It's going to curve here. So actually, I can use this point right here as a mount point. It curves like right here. Right? And because I'm now completely in control of the ball, it can be, well, I'm going to keep it 1.5 inches, but it can be definitely tighter if I wanted it to be tighter. But I don't really want it to be tighter. Like 1.5 inches is really a good ramp width. That's based on things that I've measured. That's what a lot of companies use. 1.5 inches for the ramp. And notice I'm not really using any of those balls anymore. These little ball shapes anymore. Since I have all these street level guides, I can kind of gauge the width of the ramp based on that, and it helps. It just makes it a little bit quicker to design this stuff. So I want a mount right here. Remember, this is going to be a ramp also. You don't have to go crazy with your mounts. Ramp plastic is pretty flexible with things. But I do also need, if I cut this across, well, it needs to go down a little bit. Then I cut it across this way. I'm going to need a mount over this way. So I'm going to need a mount maybe on this wood border here. That way it won't affect the on-ramp or the plunger lane. Does not need to come out as much as that. So yeah, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mounts. That should be enough for this ramp, because this section right here needs to be flat. This section needs to be tapered. And of course you have screw holes here, and you have your ramp flap here. Rivets. There. Okay. And then the ramp doesn't really need to be mounted down here. Sometimes I like doing it. Like in this case right here, I see no reason why I can't just extend this out and add a post right here just to mount that. And honestly, I'll probably, but the question is, do I really need that? Because you got the screws right here, and that holds it. No, I don't need that. I don't need that because I have. If I didn't have these targets here, then I'd bring things down and mount posts and whatnot. but I don't need that with this. The other thing that I could potentially do is put metal guides kind of around here. Like on this part right here, I definitely want this to curve in a little bit more like yay, so it's more behind the target here. But a lot of that little detail is going to come more with the CAD and less with the sketch. So I think this ramp is pretty good. Or at least so this is the plastic form that I'm going to be making. The vacuum form section, if that wasn't already obvious. And then there's a wire form section that's going to be made that attaches to it because this exits out into a wire form. Or I want it to exit out into a wire form. It doesn't need to exit out to a wire form, but the benefits of wire forms is it doesn't block things nearly as much as vacuum form ramps do. It's easier to see through wire forms than it is vacuum forms. All right, so over here, this section here is going to be the wire form. And it's going to come down like yay, like here. So this can be loose. Just to get an idea of where it's going. I don't need to draw the pipes themselves. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But just to get a rough idea that, yeah, it continues. Now, the trick with this ramp, though, is it's not actually going to go all the way down here. I'm just drawing it down here for the time being. It's going to link into the shorter candy cane ramp in a minute. Or at least, I hope it's going to. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But I hope it's going to. So that's more or less how that goes. You know, there will be a little transition pipe right here. You know, kind of like that. And, you know, a little curved pipe here around there. You know, something you know, something like that. So it's going to loop around and it's going to come down here. So this is a two-part ramp, and this section up here can link into the vacuum form, so that's no problem. The section over here can attach to this, and can attach to either this or this or this. It doesn't really matter. It's probably going to attach to the upper post there, and it might attach to this post over here. I don't know yet, because the other ramp I want is going to be a little wiggly. So how about we draw the candy cane ramp now, so I know where this is going to end up going. And for the candy cane ramp, call this candy cane ramp. I spelled wrong in this case. It's supposed to be like this, right? Yeah. Alright, candy cane ramp. I will draw this in green because candy canes are green. Of course they are. This is the ramp that comes over this way. So, of course, this is gonna. This green is gonna be hard to see, isn't it? Let's darken this green a bit. I don't know. Can you see that? All right. Yeah, you can see that. So this ramp is going to come up this way. Remember, this is the one that I said was really important, that it had to be 1 1/8 by this point. It's going to curve around this way. And this one I do want to keep inside the wood border as much as, or the backboard as much as I can, because it's a much shorter, smaller, simpler ramp. Let's see, curves this way, go straight here. Something like that. Something like that, I suppose. Now, I never want to have flats in my ramp, so I am going to need to adjust this section here. What I did do here, I think, is actually make this a little more diagonal, so I'm going to do that here. That'll remove some of that flat, and it'll make this flipper easier to hit. Not necessarily the bottom flipper can't do it, so it's only this upper flipper. So that'll make that upper flipper easy to hit when it's like that. And this is going to come straight this way. And then it'll shrink as it comes around. And again, I don't really want it to be that gradual there, so I think I'm gonna do something more like that. There. In this ramp. A little higher up to account for the ramp flap. Let's see. Oops. So, and you can see this also kind of follows the left orbit a little bit because of just how the contour works. There's a lot of layers that are very similar to each other, like that. Similar how the right side follows the right orbit. And when you onion skin things like this, you tend to see that a bit more. Okay, so this ramp I can make this ramp plastic all the way down, can't I? And it's not going to really occlude the targets very much. I don't know. I don't know. My machine can't do that. So it is going to become wire, but how big is this section? Well, I need to do a measurement again. It's going to make it 1 inch. 2 to 1. Yeah, all right, so this is 2 to 1. So let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 18. Yeah, I can do 36. So this is 18 is right here. 18, 20, 22, 24. So 24 is kind of where I want to stop the vacuum. Well, 24. No, screw it. 26. It can be 26. So, wait, is that a full inch? Yeah. All right, so this is 26 inches. So that's as far as I want the vacuum to go. So this can get most of the way. Wow, really? 26, 28, 30. Oh shit, I can do most of the way. This is 30, because I can do 36-inch long. So this will work okay. So that's 36 inches from the top there all the way down. Yeah, all right. It's going to be a vacuum form ramp all the way through. Fuck it. It's going to be vacuum form all the way through. So it's going to be 30. This, yeah, so this will be like 37 inches, right? Get here. Because it's going to mount right onto that. So this comes down and just stays on the left side. I'm gonna make sure it hugs the left side. I don't want to block anything. I don't want to block any entrances or any perceived spaces. This ramp isn't very high. I mean, it's high enough, but it isn't totally perfectly high to the point that it can live on its own nicely. It's definitely has moved away from the edge that I want it to be at, because I want it to be way over on the far left edge. Really kissing this edge. It's going to be mounted onto the side where the edge is. And I will hide the street level view so I can actually see what I'm doing. That was screwing me up a little bit, because the street level still needed to worry a little bit about thickness. This doesn't have to worry as much about thickness where it is in relation to the edge. Yeah, that definitely pulled over to the side. Okay. Let's hide the sleigh ramp for a second and see if we can clean this up. Remember, every ramp has a flange. Yes, you can get rid of it, but you really don't want to, because the flange does add rigidity. There. It's going to be here. It's going to be a little piece of rubber. And over here. Prevents to prevent the ball from damaging too much. Down this way. Back up. Back up. Alright, so we're definitely going to mount right here. Mount right here. I want to also have a mount right over here. So there's a screw here, but I can pull this in a little bit further because that's not harming anybody. And I can add a mount right here. I don't want it to cover too much of this spot, but it's okay to cover that a little bit. This can be, this needs to be squarish. This can be cut in a little bit. This can be cut in a little bit. That can be adjusted in CAD to meet my machine specifications. And just like the other ramp, just like the sleigh ramp, this is all going to be made flat. I mean, the majority of this is flat, but it's all going to be made flat. And when it goes down to attach to here, it's just going to naturally tilt down and flex a little bit. And when it raises up from the mouth, it's also going to naturally flex. That's why I'm making, again, this curvature here, all in this section, so I can naturally flex the thing without having to make a complex mold, a complex buck. And in doing so, it definitely needs to remain a thin half-inch flange all the way around this ramp to allow for that. Otherwise, this curvature here will be too thick and it won't flex. But right here, right at this point, I want it to be the full. Actually, it needs to be the proper height. Street level. It needs to be the proper height here. Like right here needs to be the proper height, but that's where the flex is. So I can't exactly do that. But if I put my mounting hole here, because there's space here, right? I can certainly mount something right here. As long as I have my mounting hole there, then that's basically equivalent to this side, and it should work out okay. So let's hide that again. Now that I know where this mount needs to be right there. So that's where that is. That's important for that to be there. So it's going to be a cut circle. That way there's no offset, and this needs to be as close as possible. So it's going to be right around there. You have that. Those are going to be the standoffs for the ramp. Good tangents. All right, and actually, I haven't saved this in a while, have I? So how about it's been like 4 hours I haven't saved this. Save, and this is gonna go into Pinball, 4 days of Xmas. Um, 12 days Xmas Blade Field. Sketch. Okay, it's saved. I don't feel bad now. Because the last thing I want is for my computer to die or the program to crash or something. And I was tempting fate not having saved ever. So now it's saved. And the program can crash more or less if it feels like it. Okay, so there's the ramp. And I mean, I only have 4 mounts on here. I have the one down here, the one on the left, and then these 2 initial transitions. I mean, this is a straightaway. You don't really need much there. This is going to be a couple screw holes right here. And that's all you really need to hold this ramp on. You're not going to need anything else. You don't need other special things around there. Now the sleigh ramp. Let's adjust this, because the sleigh ramp now is going to transition onto this ramp and then continue, which makes this habit trail work much simpler, because now I don't have to curve it or anything like that. Well, I need to, yeah, no, I just need more or less kind of a straightaway to here. Right, Oops, that's green. I don't want green on the red. Red on the red. Now this habit trail can go, come on. This habit trail can go straight across here. Right? And now with this, I am going to need to add an extra mount point. Actually, no, I don't. I can be sneaky. I don't need to add a mount point. I can say that habit trail is going to go right over to here. And it's going to be a diagonal down habit trail. And it's going to go right into the side of the ramp here. Yeah, it's going to go right into the side of the ramp. And then this ramp, the candy ramp, or candy cane ramp, which is green, is not going to have a wall here. Instead, I can make a hole here. Because when the ball goes down this way, it's not gonna try and go back up and out. But when the ball comes down this way, you know, it can just ricochet a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. And where is this above? This is above. This is right above those three targets. So that, you know, that could be a problem. However, what I can do, because now that I know that this ramp, so if, oh yeah, my pencil fell again. I need to put in the inkwell. All right, so now I know the sleigh ramp. It's not going to be flat across going down playfield. It's gonna be slanting like this into the candy. Can't see any of this candy. It's gonna be slanting down into this thing, which means it can kind of go up the playfield a little bit because it's still going to be going down with gravity, and it can be a neat little optical trick. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make this go up the playfield even though it's still going down gravity. And then it's not going to be in the way of this guy here. It's going to come in like over here. I could even make it go up in a little higher. But no, that's going to be fine. That's going to be fine. Sleigh ramp. Red. So you're going to go across like here. Again, it's going downhill both towards the edge of the playfield, which it really doesn't need to do, and it's literally going down. It's literally slanted into this other ramp, which is an inch lower, or maybe even 2 inches lower than the sleigh ramp. This is going to work really well. It's just this transition here for sure is going to need a guide wire. But this looks like it's getting cluttered over here, but this is so high up, it's not going to be a problem. You're going to be able to see under it very, very easily. That goes right into there. That's going to attach into the side there. And boom goes the dynamite. This ramp is pretty good. Okay, So that ramp loops around that way. So those are finished ramps. So there's one more ramp to go. Now this sleigh ramp, just so everybody knows, whoever watches this blog later on or who's watching now, I don't know. The sleigh ramp is going to be about 4.5 inches high at the highest point over, excuse me, over here where it's flat. This candy cane ramp is going to be it was what, 2.5 inches, so that's like an inch and a half difference that this whole thing is going to transition down and across it. So this is really high, and because this is about 4.5 inches high, I have plenty of height here for another 2 inch or 1.5 inch. This is gonna be really low, 1.5 inch ramp to loop around this way. So with that one, I'm gonna make that one's the yeah, the not chimney, fireplace ramp. That ramp. Let's add a new layer. Fireplace. So the fireplace ramp is going to be, I did green, kind of dark mustard yellow, I guess. The fireplace ramp is going to go this way. No, yeah, this way. Up here. Kind of a quick loop back. It's also going to have curvature that way. It's important. I want this to be shootable from the lower left flipper. So it needs to have a little bit of this curvature. And this flipper is going to come right up and over as well. So like that. I don't want to block the flipper. And this is going to have a similar termination over here. It goes this way. There, there, and down and walk in here, across. And when I redo these ramps, I'm probably going to move these sections up and out a little bit so you can get to the adjustment post easier. This is at least a good starting point. So again, I'm going to attach to the edge, go straight up. Hide the sleigh ramp for the time being so I can see what I'm doing. It's a flange that comes up and around. Now this ramp, I'm going to have to make the height adjustment. I can't just flex this because of how steep this ramp needs to be and how quick it needs to transition. So this is going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt to make, but you know, it is what it is. Can't always have easy molds. Now the one thing I don't like about this is now covering this flipper, and it's making it harder to see where the ball comes out. So I have half a mind to actually cut this right here. So only this upper section is the formed ramp. Yeah, so I have half of mine to have only this upper section be the formed ring. Um, and then this section down here to be all wire form. That way you can see your flipper better. And I think I'm going to do that because this is a very, very simple wire form to make. Unless I make it two pieces and I just have one little, no, that's dumb. Yeah, so this is going to be a wire form all down here. I think that's the correct answer for this. Which means this is going to attach right here, right here, and it's going to change my brush. I think I changed my brush. Hold on. No, I didn't. Okay. And it's going to attach right here as well. So those three attach points. Maybe right here. I don't know. I don't fully know quite yet. Maybe it'll be there, and then it'll go into here. But then for this ramp, it's going to need to attach somewhere else. So obviously it's going to attach here. So here and here, right? And down at the bottom where the screws go in as well, of course. But there really should be another attach point over here somewhere, which I don't really have a point because this right here is used by the sleigh ramp. And I could double it up, but that would be kind of awkward with how I have to form the thing. So I don't want to do that. Sugar. Because this really needs a point right here. But I have that. Well, maybe these two are fine. Maybe these two are all I need. I don't know. I'll find out when I build it. I'm gonna say yes for now, and find out later. I can always add more stuff on the playfield. I can always add a metal bracket going across to help add more rigidity here if I have to. But I'll find out when I go to build it. It's gonna be a very steep ramp. I'm gonna need to be very precise when I make this ramp, just because of where it is and how it is. So that will tip off and go up and around. Because the height needs to be right here. Um, yeah, and this is also going to need a cover, of course. I mean, most of these ramps are going to have a cover. This one absolutely needs a cover. This one doesn't need a cover as much, but I'll probably do a cover just for funsies. Around. Mounting feet. And that makes actually this easier to access, so I don't have to worry about that in CAD anymore. I just need to worry about this side, which might just involve cutting that out a little bit. So it might be a non-issue. Sorry if I'm going quiet. Yeah, no one's watching it right now. Anyways, I've gone too long. How long is it? Has it been? Yeah, almost 3 hours. Yeah, but I mean, I'm almost done now with the main part of the layout. I still need to come up with this section because the problem with this section is if I wanted to go all the way up and around, that means this ramp needs to be taller, and I don't want that ramp to be taller. So I don't know how the plunger's gonna get out. I'm really not sure how the plunger's gonna get out easily. I the best way is to have it lift up and go over here. That really is the best way. Also, this might be too far that way because of the footprint of the flipper. So if I push the flipper out this way a little bit more, then I'll be able to fit, your traditional lift, like kind of sort of lift section there. So I think that's what's going to have to happen. This might need to pull out a little bit. I'll know when I get into CAD. But I think this is more or less the layout. So let's see what we have here. We have left loop. I mean, I'm still not happy that you can't get to this flipper easily without using it. I guess in theory, you could hit this target, ricochet off, or you could hold this flipper up and let it roll off to this. Or if you just shoot around. Excuse me. Or if you just shoot around, it could just come to here and you could go around. Obviously, coming out through the present section, it'll be fine. And then there's these two targets here. Never really finished that very well. Basically going to be a mirror of this, but now instead of a guide, it's going to be a flipper up here. Spaced out a little bit more, I guess. Um, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the layout. And I'm not happy that I can't get to this, but it is what it is. Sleigh ramp loops around. It's going to go into the candy cane ramp, which is over there, which you can get up with this flipper. That's going to be a very difficult shot, but I still think you can get it. I should finish up this ramp. No, from this ramp. Oh shit, I drew that on the street. Oh, candy ramp. Street. Now, in this case, I'm going to want to put a metal bracket there. Probably on both sides. Probably on both sides. This is gonna mount on this post. This is gonna just mount behind the target because of the slamming that could potentially happen. Okay. And the last thing that I was thinking of is here, I'm gonna want an opening on this lower playfield because this lower playfield um, I think I want a post to go in to the lower playfield down here. If I have a hole in this lift up playfield thing, that that will allow me to do that to make it easier to have the ramp at the right height based off the playfield and not so much off of the mini transitiony thing here. All right. I think I have the layout. I think I have the layout. That's gonna be a hard ramp to get, but that should be gettable. Slipper might need to come in a little bit more, actually. It might need to be more like this. Which could actually allow me to have 3 targets here again. Let's see. You can still, yeah, you can still get the orbit fine. It's a little smaller now because of the direction of that flipper. But now that flipper for sure will be able to get the orbit and we'll be able to get the ramp just by rotating it ever so slightly like that. Very pretty sure how does this look? I might be able to fit a full-size target here. Again, I'll know better in CAD. But I might be able to fit a full-size target there, which would be awesome. Because then this ramp, which is hard to get, you can hit this fairly consistently, but then you still need to get around that ramp. these two targets you can hit easily enough, and this ramp you can get pretty well. So 1, 2, these 3 for the orbit 3, these 3 for the ramp 4, these 3 for this ramp, or this left orbit 5. I still wish there was a way to get around, some shot to get around here. And I really don't like that I can't easily get to this flipper. I really don't like that. It can be solved by putting that there, but then that can't loop around and hit. I don't know. I don't have a solution for it. Unless all this ramp does is go up and around. Though I'd like this ramp to come back down here for transition. If I get rid of this ramp altogether, I can have a little hitch back here. Again, that's kind of boring. It's kind of boring. Or this drop target could block this ramp. It can be the present ramp that loops you around. Maybe that's the correct answer. And then this can be a quick little hitch back to get there. And that'll make this ramp less steep because it has more transition time here. And then you don't lock the ball for multi-ball, for 2-ball multi-ball. Present multi-ball wouldn't be a thing. Well, I mean, maybe it could, because if you go around, because there's plenty of space there, I can still have a disappearing post that goes on the secondary ramp. Or you just shoot the ramp a few times and it starts the multi-ball. That seems kind of boring, though. Because if all you have to do is shoot the ramp 3 times and you start a multi-ball, it's like whoop-de-doo, you didn't really do anything. I don't know. I don't know. But my gut's telling me this ramp needs to be moved up here. But doing that gets rid of this flow. Well, this you can't even get from the lower. So there is no flow there anyways. Oh, but no, I'm sorry. The sleigh ramp here to sleigh ramp here, you lose that flow. Because this lower flipper can't get this upper shot. Or can it? No, this lower flipper, that's a really tight shot for the lower flipper. It's a really tight shot for the lower flipper. So it can get it, but not comfortably. Whereas this shot's a lot easier for the lower flipper to get. I have an idea. I have an idea. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it as is, but what you can do is if you this drop okay, yeah, I think this will work. This drop target here is gonna generally be down. Okay, so you can shoot the present shot safely. This disappearing post is a naturally down post. Okay, so when you shoot here, it's just gonna come over here, and you can loop, or you can do the thing. After you shoot this shot a couple times, it'll then lock the ball. And well, actually, this isn't gonna be naturally down. This is gonna be naturally up. But when you, as soon as you hit this, this will pop down. So it'll seem like it's just a standard transition to blew up right out. Um, but after you shoot that a couple times, then it'll go in. It'll lock the ball. The present target will come up. It'll kick out another ball. And yeah, because if this kicks out and loops all the way around, you can get like a starting bonus by hitting this drop target, and that will start the multi-ball because I only have room for one switchback here, I think. I don't have room for two, so you can't just shoot the ball back there. So if you hit this target down right from the plunge, like as a skill shot, that can start your two ball immediately. Or you have to hit this like a couple times, maybe. Yeah, so the first time you do it, you hit it maybe twice. First time you hit it, second time it drops down, the other ball comes out, and you have your two ball. But if you hit it right off the plunge, there you go. That's your skill shot, and that's your start of multi-ball. If you or okay, then the second time around, it's three shots on this target. Or again, if you hit it right at the skill shot, then you get an immediate start on it. How about that? I think that'll be fun because that'll promote skill of shooting and starting quick. But if you miss it, you still need to kind of bash the thing a little bit. So I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna actually make this note now because this diverges a little bit from what I originally said. All right, so for the three ball or for the two ball, so this is target uh, drop target normally down, disappearing post auto drops normally when present switch is triggered after three shots. And I don't know if this is actually going to be three, maybe it'll be more. Ball locks behind present. It raises. And two shots to drop start to ball. Each subsequent lock requires more shots. Hitting present drop target right from plunger launch starts ball starts to ball immediately and gives what is it? Rapid bonus, quick bonus. What do I want to call this bonus? How gives just skill bonus, skill start bonus. Sure. All right, so that solves that problem. That fixes a whole lot of things, I think. Because now you can just now you can easily get to this flipper from Bolton from any of these three flippers. You can just shoot around there, get to the flipper, start your things, and get to the ramp. Unless you lock the ball, then you need to start the two ball, and then that's dropped, and everything's fine again, anyways, because you can shoot around. That solves that problem. That still allows me to have this ramp so it can transition. That the sleigh ramp is still a thing, so now you can loop around the sleigh ramp, loop around here, loop around. You have flow there. You can bring this over here. You can loop there, loop, 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 loop. Go this way. Okay, so this has a decent amount of flow now. And the present now has more of a purpose, which is good. The maybe what the present can do is if you shoot the present shot, it will. Okay, how about this too? If you shoot the present shot, because originally I wanted some target up here to like start flashing other things, but we don't really have a target for that. Shooting the present shot will light. Well, no, it won't light, but it'll light a single target along the way, so it can finish a bank that you currently have. This is, I think, kind of like a Robocop with the in lanes. How going over an in lane will help finish banks. This present can also finish banks, so I'll change it to that. So the present, the platform. I'm going to boost. Okay, present. However, that won't do it during multi-ball, I think, or during any multi-ball. Present, isn't. Thank you. Shot will light. Present shot. Yeah. Light. Target. Light a gift target some on the play field. Helped to complete gift thanks for shot. Collect all Christmas called gifts, otherwise present gift. Yeah, otherwise present and gift will be really kind of confusing if I keep using present all the time. All right, so collect. So shoot shots. Light gift target somewhere on the playfield helps complete gift bangs for gift shots. Does not do this during any multi-ball. Okay, so that solves that gift shot, what it can potentially do. Nice. So that, okay, so we have the gift shot, we have the two ball. Come on, get over there. We got the gift shot. We know what that does. We know how that works. We have the two ball. We know kind of what that does. I mean, the two ball is just gonna aid in things, I guess. It just gives you kind of a rip, and maybe the gift shop will be lit. I don't know. I'll fiddle with that later. We know what the gift light targets will do because we have 5 shots for that. I wish we had 6, but we have 5 at least. We can loop around this ramp. We can have flow all around. We have this transition. I know this transition is gonna work. It's gonna be a little finicky with this thing, but I'll get it to work. Yeah, I think the layout's done. I think this design is done and it's ready for CAD. I'd ask if anyone has any thoughts, but I don't think there's anyone here at the moment. Come on, zoom out. I don't know. Is there anyone here? Uh, I guess not. So this is the layout since no one's here and no one has any thoughts about it. Awesome. And I finished before 1 a.m. My goal was to have this done in about 4 hours or so, and I started what 9:30. Let's see, I've been live for about 3 hours and 20 minutes. So I got this done and I got a basic rules doc done in that time period. So I'm happy. No, it's not the most complex thing. No, it doesn't have like crazy toys and all of these other things. But I'm making this in three man weeks, 2 months. So it's got to be somewhat simple. It's got to be somewhat doable. Everything on here is doable. This is probably going to cost about $800 to do, 900, $900 to make. So it's not unreasonable. Because let's see, the if, each flipper is about $50, so that's 200 for the flipper. The trough is 200, so that's 400. The auto plunger is about 50, so that's 450. The drop target is about 70, so that's 450, 525, we'll call it. I already have the targets, so that's free. So the plastic, I'm gonna get a couple $100 worth of plastic, so 600, call it 600 or 650, call it 650. Um, I probably need to get some metal and some other miscellaneous things. So yeah, it's gonna be about $800, which is not bad, not bad. I already have inserts. I already have insert lamps. The control system is probably going to be my Linball control system because I have that and it's free. Uh, I could use fast, but I don't really have any spare fast boards. Based on this design, I would need, let's see, a neuron, let's see, how many switches? One, two, three, four. Um, well, with the 1616 takes care of the bottom eight and four. Uh, well, the 1616 might take it. The 3208 might be all I need. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 36, 37, because I'm going to have another switch here. 37. Yeah, 3208 won't cut it. And then for solenoids, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So actually, a 3208 and a 0408 might cut it. I don't know. That might be enough for this if it was doing fast. Plus their LED. Though to simplify it, I might just do the LEDs off the neuron right on this. Because I can't imagine there's gonna be a lot of LEDs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Yeah, I mean, there might, yes, the neuron would be fine because it might only take one bank of neuron noise. Because I'm not, oh, in the 12 days and a couple of, yeah, so it'll take two banks on the neuron plus a 32.8 plus an 0408, I think, if I was doing fast. So, Aaron, yeah, maybe. Um, yeah, otherwise, my hardware, I already have all this kind of built into it. So, and I already have harnesses kind of made for it. So I might just do that. it'll be cheaper. All right, so there you go. 12 Days of Christmas. Here's the layout. I'll move that to the side there. Over here somewhere. Here. There's the rules. The very rough rule. Come on. Will you let me grab your edge, please? Thank you. Great. The layout and the rules. So there you go. Stream done. The camera's kind of offset, so it's a little hard for me to get my head in. All right. See you. See you, folks. Where is my mouse? Where's my mouse?